Hey guys, it's your girl Tina here. Today I'm in a little bit of a chatty mood, and so I thought I'd sit down and film a girl talk video for you guys. Biscuit has decided to also join me. Why are you looking down? Look at the camera. The camera. Yes, up there. Yes, say hello. Hello. Her hair is all grown out, so I think she needs a little bit of a groom. So I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me anything, and I've got a list of questions from you guys. Most of them are pregnancy related, which I totally understand. There's some love questions, love and relationship, and sex. So those are the topics I'm going to be covering today because those are the questions you guys submitted. So grab your beverage, your teas, your coffees, and yeah, you guys can listen to this as a podcast, I guess, if you want. You can multitask and do something as we get chit-chatty. Let's go through the pregnancy questions first. I've got a list here on my laptop so I don't miss out on any. What's the most surprising thing about being pregnant? There are just so many things that I did not know or expect as I'm going through this journey. I think the most surprising thing is just how certain body parts change, okay guys? Like, I didn't expect my nipples to grow and change in color so much. It was just very dramatic. Everything just expanded and it got bigger. My boobs grew. Also down there, I'm just like swollen all the time. I just feel like I'm very puffy down there. These things that I just didn't think would happen during pregnancy, I guess because no one really talks about this stuff. So I found like those changes the most surprising thing for me. Now that you're expecting a baby, has your perspective on life changed? My focus definitely has changed. Like now I'm thinking long term. I'm thinking about where is she going to go to school? Am I going to move back to Australia? I guess when you have a child to take care of for the next, at least 20 something years, your way of thinking definitely changes. It's not just about me anymore. Or it's not about me and Alfred and our relationship only. It's more like, how am I going to bring this person up to be a good person and guide her through life? And so my way of thinking has changed. I don't know how I'm going to navigate through it, honestly. It's just something that I'll have to, tackle as it comes. I'm also thinking about like our finances a lot more, trying to cut back on things that, that's unnecessary. For example, originally we wanted to move apartments and upgrade to something bigger. Excuse me, Biscuit. Are you uncomfortable? Do you want to go down? I just put Miss Grumpy Pants down. Anyways, as I was saying, yeah, we wanted to get a bigger place and upgrade, and that would mean paying more rent. And I just thought, you know what? Like, now's probably not the time to upgrade and start spending all this money because we've got a baby to take care of, and I don't even know what's going to be all the expenses. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just live below our means and save. So finance has been a big thing on my mind. Are you nervous about giving birth? When I first felt pregnant and I was just reading all these birth stories, I think like the day that you go into labor and giving birth, I was really nervous about that, as many, women are. But now I'm getting closer to it. I actually find myself feeling more calm, maybe because I've been watching and trying to practice a lot of like hypnobirthing techniques that focus on almost like going into a meditative state and just relaxing the body. And so I don't feel super nervous like before. Before I was very anxious and just scared of the pain and all that. But now that I'm getting closer, I'm not too nervous, but that could change because I still have a couple months left. 2 months. 2.5 months, roughly around there. Are you going to film your labor and delivery? Yes. I'm planning to film it. I think it's definitely going to be one of those moments in my life that I want to document, and then I really want to look back on and also show our baby when she comes out, as she grows up. It's nice to have those sort of videos because growing up I didn't have any, barely had photos, and I didn't have any videos whatsoever. Do you shave even when you're pregnant? Guys, I have not shaved in a long time. I mean, I'm looking at my legs now and I can definitely see hair. There's still a lot of hair there. When you're pregnant, it's just hard to bend. And then like down there in the intimate region, guys, I can't even see my own cooch down there. I can't see, so I haven't been shaving. I haven't done anything down there, so yeah. But I do have to say, I did get laser in the past, but some hairs did grow back. So I've got like random sprouts that's quite long that I haven't seen in a while. So if, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I think like a lot of people still groom down there, and I think with some deliveries they tell you to shave, but like weeks before. I don't know. I think, you know, for me, I don't really care about it, so I've just left it. What do you use to prevent stretch marks on your belly? In the beginning, I was using bio oil, but then a lot of you guys commented and said it's bad, and I kind of read into it. And there is like a derivative of retinol. I think it's I can't remember what it was, but like a very small dosage that isn't supposed to be harmful to the baby because it's very low. But I was like, okay, maybe I'll switch. And currently I'm using these two. One is the Kin the Nourishing Cream. So this is like a watery-ish moisturizer. And then the oil that I've been using is this Super Seed Belly Oil from Marlo. I like to mix the two together because the oil alone, I feel like I have to use a lot to cover like my whole belly, my thighs, my boobs. And so when I mix it with my moisturizer, I feel like it creates a lot more slip and I can get good coverage. But yeah, those are the two that I've been using. So far, I don't have stretch marks, but guys, I think it all comes down to genetics. If your mum got stretch marks when she was pregnant, chances are that you might too. I don't think my mum did, so fingers crossed I don't get stretch marks, but it's just a part of it, guys. It's fine. It's like, you know, your tiger stripes to prove that you've gone through this pregnancy and you've gone through this amazing journey, and people just embrace it, which is nice. I'm so clumsy. That's another thing about pregnancy. You're just clumsy all the time, and you have baby brain. I'm so forgetful these days. Is it okay to breastfeed with breast implants? As some of you guys may know, I did talk about it in like my previous videos. I did get breast augmentation. How long ago? Baby brain. Over 10 years ago. Oh geez, that's ages. Back then, I remember asking my doctor if I can breastfeed later in life, and he said it was fine. And I think it all comes down to the method and the placement of your implants. Mine is under the muscle, which means all the breast tissue is the same on top, so you know the milk ducts and stuff are untouched, so there shouldn't be any issues with breastfeeding, hopefully. But yeah, it depends on the placement of the implants. How long did you try before getting pregnant? Did you do anything different? Alpha and I didn't really try for that long, like try properly. And what I mean by properly is like looking at the app, looking when my expected ovulation date is, using the little ovulation tester thing. Before that, we weren't really on any birth control, and to us, we're like, you know, if it happens, it happens. But when we started to try, it was the first go, I guess, not the first exact try, like the first month, I'd say. It only took us like the first month, which we were really, really lucky. And things that I did differently was, yeah, like track my periods before that so I could get an idea of the window for my ovulation day. And then my friend also gave me some spare ovulation tests that she had. It's like a pregnancy test. You pee on it, and then like the day that you ovulate, you get a little smiley face, and like that's the day to do it. So we did that. What else? I read some tips. This is TMI, but you know, girl talk was all about TMI. The tip that I read is for the guy to release a couple of days before Alfred's just here. No shame, no shame. The guy to release a couple days before, so then he's got like a new batch of what I call soldiers. You know, you don't want like the soldiers that's been there for ages and they've just probably lost their momentum to swim and fight. So you want like a new batch of soldiers in there. So it's better for the guy to release. So like release a couple of days before. I think all up we did it probably like 4 times that month, or like those couple of days. So we just made sure we were intimate like every second day, because sperm does or can last in there for up to 3 days, I think. And so we're like, okay, let's just, you know, every second day. And yeah, it worked out. It worked for us. Oh, and another thing that I think is really important is your stress levels. Like, because we hadn't been trying for that long, we weren't really stressed about it, and you know, it was like somewhat very enjoyable. Not like you're like 6 months, a year down the track and it's just like clockwork and you just gotta do it for the sake of reproducing. But I think, yeah, stress definitely has an important role in it, because if you're stressed, your body's not gonna function as well as it could. So you just wanna make sure you relax, happy, and just go with the flow. But you know what, it's different for everyone, guys. I just feel very lucky that we were able to conceive pretty soon after trying. And if you guys are thinking about having kids, or you're trying, don't give up. Hang in there. Just try to get yourself in a positive mindset, because I think that's what I was doing a lot of the time too. I was trying to like manifest this, and I was like, yes, my body can have this baby. I'm going to produce a healthy baby. So all that, just, you know, all that adds up. Are you planning to go on maternity break after the baby? What's the plan with your content? Am I going on an official maternity break? I think I will definitely need some time off, definitely, but hopefully I won't be off for too long. I think I'm still going to film like videos here and there, but instead of uploading 2 videos a week, I might cut down to 1 or 1 every 2 weeks. We'll see how I go with the schedule and everything. Yeah, content wise, expect to see more mummy and baby content. That's just gonna happen, because that's just the next stage in my life. But you know, in saying that, I'm still gonna keep up with all the other types of content that I usually post, whether it be like makeup, beauty, fashion. Maybe I can't wait to get back to filming like try on hauls. We'll just need to work on the body first. What else? Like crafty videos. I'll still do my regular content, but they'll just be an additional mummy and baby content. So I hope you guys will look forward to that. What's your favorite thing about being pregnant? My favorite thing has to be when I can feel her kick and move. Honestly, it just feels so surreal that I have this little baby growing inside me. And guys, she likes to move and like kick and punch a lot. So it's a weird sensation, because it's not like a little bubble or a gurgle anymore. It's like you can actually feel like little thumbs here and there. And sometimes she's like, I don't know what she's doing, but I feel like a constant tapping. Maybe she's got the hiccups. But yeah, feeling the baby move is just one of the most magical feelings, for me at least. Okay, that's most of the pregnancy questions. Let's move on to the topic of love and relationships. Do you have any advice for dating and relationships in your 20s? Oh gosh, it just makes me think back to like all the relationships and the dates that I went on when I was in my 20s. I think the biggest thing that I learned was how important it is to know who you are. Because I feel like in your 20s, you're still trying to discover, you know, what you want in life, whether it be like career or like, you know, in a relationship. You're still like figuring life out so much. And so I think it's really important to spend that time to get to know you first before trying to like look for the one. But in saying that, I feel like for me, a lot of the relationships that I was in, I was able to discover other parts of myself, even though, you know, that they didn't work out or I went through like bad breakups. Like looking back at it, like each relationship taught me something. I feel like it made me more ready for the relationship I have today. Another thing is, I feel like a lot of people have a list of things they want in a partner, which is good, but don't be so like rigid with that list, because looking for a partner or dating someone is completely different to, you know, buying the latest model of iPhone where you can just tick off the things you want. It's gonna be different, and some red flags or some things that maybe deal breakers on your list, it might surprise you that, you know, when you meet someone that's right for you, you can overlook these things that, you know, originally once upon a time you said that no, I would never date someone like that. Like, you never know unless you try. Also, don't fill in the gaps too much. Like, I feel like when you first meet someone, you have a lot of these expectations, and then, you know, as you're getting to know them, you kind of fill in the gaps yourself, and perhaps you haven't dated them for that long and you expected them to be a certain way, but turns out they're completely different. And so I feel like that was one of my biggest issues. Like, I would date someone and say, like, for example, I dated a guy that had his own business. I thought we would really connect on that and it would work out for us because, yeah, you know, we're like hustlers, go-getters, and so we had that same drive. But then when I was in a relationship with that type of person, I just realized we would clash a lot. We're very different in the way that we were thinking about things or like our goals. I just didn't work out as well as I thought it would in my head. So sometimes your expectations can lead you into some difficult relationships. But again, it's all like a learning process. And if you're going through a breakup, know that time heals all. Like, I remember being really sad and depressed for, you know, a couple weeks after, but then time always heals all. What do you think about the age gap in love? I assume like you're referring to like a larger age gap. I mean, the oldest that I've dated was 10 years older than me. And honestly, I don't know if it was just him, but I feel like guys are just a lot more immature. So even though we were 10 years difference, I didn't feel like we were like a decade apart, if you know what I mean. With Alfred and I, we have a 7-year gap and it doesn't affect us. But you know, I think it's like each to their own, and as you get older, I think the age gap can be a little bit wider and you're not going to feel it as much versus when you're younger. You know, if you're maybe like in your early 20s dating someone in their late 30s, your goals and, you know, your aspirations might be a bit different, like in terms of like the stages that you're in. For example, when you're younger, you want to go out more, you want to socialize, you want to party. And then as you get older, you're thinking about like the bigger commitments, whether it be marriage or buying a home or savings, or, you know, I feel like your stage in life definitely can affect your relationship. So it really depends on the person that you are, the person that they are. How do you know when someone is the one? Oh, this is such a hard question, guys. With my first marriage, when someone asked me that, I'd be like, you just know. Okay, I was in my 20s. I literally was 20. I think I got married a week or 2 weeks before my 21st. I was a baby. I was so young. I didn't know who I was. Couldn't even answer that question. I just thought, oh, like, you know, marriage and like being the one, I guess it's just the next stage in life. You know, we've been dating for a while and this is how it naturally progresses. No. I was so naive, guys. Now when I think about it, I mean, there's so many things that you have to consider. So like, I would never just say like, oh, you just know. I feel like that's such a like a blasé answer. But for me, I knew Alfred was the one pretty early on because I've had like my fair share of relationships previously. And our relationship was just so different. It was just so much easier to be around Alfred and be who I am. I didn't have to change who I was. Whereas like with other relationships, I always felt like there was a clash. There was something that would cause us to like butt heads. And I always felt like it was difficult and I would always want to just call it quits. And when I made that decision to just like, nah, this person's just not going to be for me. Like, we just ended things. Whereas with Alfred, when we hit an obstacle or like a problem, I never revert to like, okay, well, this is just not going to work out. I feel like we talk things through, and not that we fight a lot, but we're able to just overcome these obstacles, and it just makes our relationship stronger, and I can actually see the rest of my life with him. Or, you know, another thing is like, I can't imagine living a life without him. I think that's an important one. And we're able to enjoy just doing anything together. You know, obviously it's nice to go on fancy holidays and dinner dates and all that stuff, you know, when you're dating someone, and that's like the nice things about, you know, being in a relationship. But if you can just sit at home on the couch and just, you know, watch TV and do everyday things and still enjoy that person's company, that is a good sign, guys. Another really interesting thing about our relationship is that, you know, prior to being in a relationship with Alfred, I've never dated anyone like him. You know, like I said, like a lot of people had their list. I had a list. I definitely had a list, and I always thought that I would want like that like strong alpha male, until like I was in a relationship with one, and I just felt like, oh, like I just felt control, and I couldn't be me because like naturally I'm such a strong person. And so there was just a lot of clashes between like, you know, my personality and that person's personality. Whereas Alfred, he's a lot more mellow, he's so chill, he's a lot more introverted. If I wrote a list back then, those are the things that I wouldn't have put on my list, but somehow it just works. So when you meet that person and everything just clicks, and it's not hard. I don't feel like I have to sacrifice anything to make our relationship work. I don't feel like I have to change like my views and morals and what I want in the future. If anything, I feel like if you make a great team and you have the same goal or vision in what you want in life, I feel like that makes a great partnership. You know, the one, or like, you know, your husband or the one that you're gonna marry has to be a good partner, and you guys have to have that respect. Oh gosh, respect is so important. I should emphasize on that. In the past, when I lost respect for a guy, that's it. There was no way that I was gonna, you know, stay in a relationship if I couldn't respect that person. So I feel like respect is key. I'd love to know how you guys knew your partner was the one. Let me know below. Are you guys ready to get to the juicy stuff? I've got some sex-related questions. How to deal with mismatched sex drives in a relationship? Good question. Very good question. I think it's a very difficult one to answer because everyone's relationship is going to be different. Chances are, like, when you get in a relationship, when you first start dating someone, you guys are more sexually active. It's a new person. Things are exciting and you want to see each other. You miss each other. And there's lots of those exciting elements that, you know, make you guys connect, and perhaps like you're a lot more intimate in the beginning, but then as your relationship progresses, a lot of the time things slow down. The excitement is just not what it was. You know, the honeymoon stage is over. But yeah, like, I mean, that could be the case, but some people could still have a very high sex drive whilst the other partner kind of drops off. So what do you do then? That is really hard. I would think that it all comes down to communication and just kind of talking about it, as awkward as it can be. I feel like in the past, like I don't know, it'd be so hard for me to bring it up like in my past relationships. But for Alfred and I, because we can talk about anything and everything, and from the beginning we were just like, you know, we prefer just to have that open communication no matter the topic. So it's easier for me to bring up in my marriage and relationship, but you know, sometimes you kind of got to work your way up to that and have these conversations. So it might be like you're the one with the low sex drive and your partner is the one with a high sex drive, and you know, sometimes you just can't keep up, and you know, you don't want to be rejecting that person all the time. So I think having that open communication and just communicating that naturally you're this way and sometimes you're just not in the mood, whatever the case, but it doesn't mean that, you know, you don't love them, or like, you know, you're going out of your way to reject them and you don't want to make them feel bad. Or it could be the other way around, where you're the one that's constantly getting rejected because your partner doesn't want to sleep with you. I think it all comes down to like not taking it too personal, in the sense that like, oh, they don't love me, it means this, it means that. And just being able to communicate like how you feel, how your partner is feeling. I think when you get your points across, you're able to have a middle ground. And you know, sometimes maybe that other person has to just sort themselves out, or like, you know, you might have to just compromise and just say, okay, maybe like anything, we should schedule our like date and intimate night on these nights. So then you have like a fair agreement, or like, you know, common ground to sort of stick with. So you're both compromising. But yeah, it is a tricky one. Me getting constantly rejected by my boo. Mismatched sex drive. How do we deal with it? I just jump your bones. Is sex an important factor to a healthy relationship, and can one without it be successful? It really depends on both of you guys. I think if both of you don't want to be intimate with each other but connect on another level, and you have communicated that across and you both know that about each other, then yeah, that's a successful, healthy relationship. All comes down to what you define as a healthy, successful relationship. So whether it be with lots of sex or without lots of sex, as long as you guys are on the same page, you're happy with your relationship and there's no quarrels about it, I don't see why it wouldn't be a healthy relationship without sex. For me personally, I think sex plays an important role, because for me, I feel more connected to that person, and we share this like different bond that I don't share with anyone else. So for me, I think my healthy relationship would mean that we would be intimate with each other regularly. More often would be nice, Alfred. Especially now that I'm pregnant, these hormones, you know, I'm just feeling myself all the time. What is sex like during pregnancy? Is it different? It is very different when you have a bump and you are trying to maneuver yourself in the bedroom. Is it better? No, I feel like sex during pregnancy is hard, because as you get bigger, it's already hard to catch your breath like walking up the stairs. So can you imagine being active in the bedroom? That's just like taking a toll on another level. In terms of how it feels, I think like because you've just got a lot more blood flow and circulation happening down there, for me, I feel like I'm more sensitive. If anything, it's easier for me to be satisfied, let's just say. I should just call this Tina's TMI. I read a comment the other day and it was funny because that person was saying I should just have my own segment where I talk about too much info topics. What else about sex during pregnancy? I can go on and on about sex during pregnancy. Guys, let's just say it is very different in the bedroom when you've got a human baby growing in you. I think if anything, like for Alfred, he gets worried, like he thinks he's gonna like hurt the baby or something, which, you know, usually you don't hurt the baby. It's completely safe if your doctor says it's okay. But I think it's like that thought in the back of his head. Whereas like when I'm intimate, like sometimes I can actually feel her move and it does like put me off a little bit, because, you know, you can just feel this like movement in you whilst you're trying to like get in the mood, and it's just a little bit weird and bizarre. If anything, we laugh about it a lot. But yeah, it's very different. I wouldn't say it's better. So yeah. No, not better, but still good to be intimate. Right, Alfred? Okay guys, I think that's enough talking from me, though I can just go on and on and on and on. But I hope you guys have enjoyed today's Q&A and girl talk video / my Tina's TMI segment. If there's any other questions you want to ask me for the next upcoming video, leave them below so I can scroll through and add them to my list. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new here, so you don't miss out on any future videos. And Mama Tina will speak to you guys next time. Bye! Lots of love. And gas. Oh my god, I should have mentioned one of the most surprising things about being pregnant is that you're gassy all the time. Like super gassy. And it's like toxic gas. Ba-dum-bum